Fever is a very common symptom. Every kind of infection, let it be dengue, malaria, chikungunya, simple cough, cold, and maybe swine flu, COVID, every infection has the presenting symptom as fever. It is so common that we tend to treat it by ourselves most of the times with over-the-counter medications or with some home remedies. Very rarely or occasionally we go to the doctors for the problem. But if it is so common, don't you think that you should know everything about fever? Do you know what is fever, or is it good for our body or bad? Should we take medicines for all kind of fever every time? What are the mistakes which we should never make because they are life-threatening in case of fever? And do you know how to take care of yourselves and your family members, your loved ones, if they are suffering from fever? If not, then this video is going to be very important for you. Hello friends, and welcome to our YouTube channel, My Expert Doctor. I am Dr. Shalini Singh Salunke, your consultant physician. So in today's video, I am going to answer all these questions. Most importantly, I am going to tell you what are the 5 mistakes which you should never make if you are having fever. Also, how can you take care of yourself and your loved ones in case of fever? So stay tuned. So let's take our first question. What is fever? Is it good or bad for our body? So whenever we have an infection in our body, let it be a bacterial, viral, fungal, or protozoal, parasitic infection, body tends to increase its temperature in order to fight these infection or these agents. So whenever your body temperature is on a higher side, these agents cannot grow or multiply. So you can say that fever is a protective response against these kinds of infective agents created by our body. So definitely fever is good for our body. Now let's take the second question. How do we know we have fever, or how to check we have fever? So there are 2 methods. One is very simple. You can just use the dorsal or the back part of your hand. You can feel the temperature of your body on your forehead, stomach or back. If you feel warmer, that is warmer than the normal times, you can say that you have fever. Another way is more precise way, which is by using thermometer. There are multiple types of thermometer available, but it's better to use the digital one. So you can check the oral temperature by putting thermometer under your tongue. If it shows more than 100 degree Fahrenheit, that means you have fever. The other way is to keep your thermometer under your arms, and in that case, if it's showing more than 99 degree Fahrenheit, that means you have fever. Now, if your fever is less than 100.4 degree Fahrenheit, it is a low grade fever. If it is from 100.5 to 102, it is moderate grade. If it is more than 102, it is a high grade fever. This is how we grade the fever. So let's move to the third question. Should we take treatment or medicines for every fever? So as I've just explained, that fever is basically a protective mechanism created by our body to fight infections. So definitely fever is good for you. So you don't want to reduce fever every time. So when should you actually take treatment for fever? So if you have a low to moderate grade fever and you are comfortable, you don't feel any discomfort, you can just use tepid sponging to drop down your fever. If you feel uncomfortable, if you feel weak because of temperature and you are not able to bear that, only then you take over-the-counter medications. If your fever is more than 102, you can definitely use tepid sponging along with over-the-counter medications. Regarding over-the-counter medications, if you are taking paracetamol, make sure that you are not consuming more than 2 grams per day or 1 gram at one time. This is the maximum limit you can use. That is, you can use at least 3 to 4 times a day. Now moving on to the next question, what are the 5 mistakes which you must never make in fever? Now, before explaining you the 5 mistakes which you should never make, let me share a simple story with you. So the story is about Shraddha, a 27-year female who visited our hospital about a couple of weeks back. She presented to us with frequent vomiting episodes, abdominal pain and a bit of weakness. She was basically feeling dizzy. So when she came to the clinic, we checked her vitals. We found that her blood pressure was on the lower side. So we thought that it might be a case of gastroenteritis and asked her to get admitted. Now after admission, when we did all the investigations, we came to know certain facts. Her platelets were on a very low side, only 12,000. Her liver was showing signs of failure. Her kidneys are showing signs of failure. So then we asked her whether she had any history of fever in the last week or 7 or 10 days back. She told us that yes, she had fever, and for that she didn't show to any doctor. She took medications by herself. After inquiring more with her family members, we came to know that she wasn't taking food or drinks very well in this fever episode. That helped us to understand that the patient is having dengue, and that too a severe dengue. We checked it with reports, it came positive. It took her 5 days in ICU, fight against death, endless efforts by hospital staff and prayers by the relatives to come alive. Now this all could have easily avoided if she would have taken care of herself and have not made these 5 mistakes during her fever episode. Now, can you guess what are these 5 mistakes? If not, let me tell you. The first one is not recording your temperature by using thermometer. So basically, temperature will help us to understand the severity of infection. The second thing is that the pattern we get, the annual variations that we get, the effect of medicines, whether your fever is coming down with medicines or not, everything helps us to rule out the possibility of a type of infection. Second mistake is not taking care of your hydration status. You should at least consume 1 glass of water or any kind of liquid. The third mistake that people usually make is taking over-the-counter medications without even understanding what is the maximum limit they're allowed to do. So all these over-the-counter medications, that is crocin, aceclofenac and ibuprofen, everything is getting filtered with your liver. Now with infection, there are certain infections or infective agents, viruses which affect liver only. So if you are taking these medications at a higher doses, you are actually putting a lot of burden on that already damaged liver. So you should be very careful about the maximum dose of antipyretic or fever fighting drugs that you are taking. Fourth mistake which people make is consuming alcohol or smoke in fever. Now alcohol, smoke is any which way is dangerous for health. During fever, your body is weak, your liver is weak. At that point of time, if you are consuming alcohol or fever, the chances of spreading or infection is very high. So always avoid taking alcohol or smoke in fever. Fifth mistake is not going to the doctor even if your fever is not responding to the medicines you are taking for more than 48 hours. So please don't make these 5 mistakes so that fever will not be life-threatening for you. So the fifth question is, how can you manage fever at home? How can you take care of yourself and your loved ones if you are having fever? So the first thing is check temperature with thermometer. Always take 4 to 5 readings a day to check whether your fever is responding to the medications, what is the grade of your fever and everything. Second, take proper rest, don't exert unnecessarily. Third, take care of your hydration level adequately. Fourth, wear light clothes with light cover or sheets. Do not overdress yourself because that is only going to increase the temperature of your body more, which you don't want. Only if you have chills, use extra blanket till it settles. Fifth is eat light food, easy to digest food with lot of fruits. Never starve yourself. Sixth is avoid alcohol, smoke, beverages, as I have already mentioned. Seventh, take care of the warning signs. Look for it very closely. Now, what are the warning signs? If your fever is not responding to treatment, if you have severe headache, your fever is more than 104 degree Fahrenheit, you have stiff neck, shortness of breath, rashes, frequent vomiting, chest or abdominal pain, convulsions or seizure. If you have anything like this, do not hesitate, immediately go to the doctor. Also, the 8th point, consult the doctor if your over-the-counter medicines are not helping you for more than 48 hours. So I hope you have understood everything about fever. Now there is no confusion what to do and what not. I hope next time if you have fever, you will take care of all these points. Now this video is very important because it is on a common topic. So I request you all to share this video with your friends and family so that next time if they have fever, they can take care of themselves. So with similar informational videos which can make your health and your life beautiful, we'll meet again. Till then, ciao.